Hi, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Ada, and on this channel I mainly talk about knitting. I have not been posting for a while because I've been just so overwhelmed by work, kids, housework, and many other things, and it's been very difficult to focus and prioritize on the knitting content as much as I would love to do it. Frankly, I've been just postponing making any videos because of my messy background. I don't have any other good place to film, and my room has been just messy, full of clean laundry to be folded, kids' clothes that they've grew out of, and it's just been very difficult to keep up with it. And I did not feel like cleaning up specifically for a video or cleaning up one section of that. And today I'm kind of over it, and I'm not gonna care about the background. But that is a reason for this video. Actually, I have been so overwhelmed by the stuff that I've been spending a lot of time on decluttering in the getting rid of kids' clothes that they grew out of, getting rid of toys they grew out of, and with that I've also had to take a look at my closet, because it is time to have a little look and really re-examine what is in there and why. I have already done quite some work on it. I'm not gonna share outfits right now or progress video, so this is not gonna be necessarily like a wardrobe content. It's going to be more of a little therapy session of mine, and I hope you will find that useful as well. So I want to make a series of videos regarding my wardrobe and clothes. We'll also have a look at maybe my knit wardrobe in the end, how that all ties in. And I grew up in Poland in the 90s and 2000s, and my parents did not come from wealthy families. But at the time when I was a young child, they did have relatively prestigious jobs, and we did have money. And I remember dressing up for church. My mom would always dress us up in nice dresses and coats. And that was relatively unusual for the place where we lived, because it was a very small town. And a lot of people were not particularly wealthy, and the kids had one jacket and did not have a separate fancy wardrobe at the time. And so we kind of stood out, and my parents, my mom liked it, I think, and I think I liked it a little bit, but also I wanted to blend in. So but that's just how it is when you're like 5 years old and in kindergarten. Like, you, on one hand, you want to have something nicer, but at the same time you don't want to look like a different person. You don't want to stand out from your peers. When I was in primary school, our financial situation was a little worse, but we were never poor. We never worried about putting food on the table. So I don't think I really felt it. When I grew up a little and I started to shop with my mom, she taught me to never pay full retail, which is I think not a bad rule. And we were never brand focused. My parents, bought us appropriate clothing, but not, we did not have any like very fancy clothes. And in general, it was okay. Of course, as a teenager, I wanted to have, again, to blend in and have the same stuff that some other kids had. But in general, because I went to a public school, and there were people from all kinds of families, so I did not particularly stand out, but I was a little jealous of kids that had more fancy clothes, because that's just how it is. Deep down, I knew that fancy brands are not particularly worth it, because it's the same kind of t-shirts, just a different logo. So I never really pushed my parents to be buying me these kind of clothes. Not sure if they would if I really, really, really wanted. Maybe my parents could tell you a different story, but that's how I see those years. When I turned 17, I went to private school in England on a full scholarship, and that was really quite a change in my environment. It was a lovely all-girls school, and the younger girls wore uniforms, and from my year and up, so the last 2 years, we could wear our own clothes. However, the dress code was quite strict. It was business smart, so we had to wear blazers and shirts and suit pants, suit skirts, smart shoes. Sneakers were not permitted, so you had to wear kind of flats or loafers, or we even wore heels. And that is a very big difference, because in my Polish high school we wore whatever we wanted, really, within reason. With like, you could not wear a tiny mini skirt, but you could wear a mini skirt. Wearing a tank top in the summer was not completely crazy. I mean, the school probably didn't like it, but you would not be sent home or anything. So because of the dress code, I did not have any clothes like this, right, from my previous wardrobe. So my parents had to buy me a whole new wardrobe. Maybe we went a little bit overboard, because my mom always likes to make sure that we are covered for all cases. But we basically had to buy a whole new wardrobe, because I had nothing that would be appropriate. We were not allowed to wear hoodies. We're not allowed to wear jeans. So within a 1 or 2 days kind of shopping trip, we bought everything I needed, with shirts and tights and all that. And that meant I was not really shopping during that couple of years, because I was stuck in this boarding school that was in the middle of nowhere, with nowhere to go. And there was a shopping center 10 kilometer, 15 kilometer away. And sometimes we would go there with friends. But the thing is that you had to pay for the taxi. There was no buses. You had to pay for a taxi to get out. So a trip to the mall would cost me £20 just to get out of the school, basically, to like a return trip. And that's quite a cost. That was quite a cost for me. And so then that leaves a little spending money for the actual being in the mall. And the mall was also quite fancy, so they did not have like super many very cheap shops. So I could not really buy anything. I could not really spend my money there. And again, why buy these clothes if you're not really allowed to wear them at school, right? So that was quite a 2-year forced ban on buying things, because there was really no need to buy. There was really no way and no need. And at that time, I really did have 2 wardrobes. I had one wardrobe at school, which was like this fancy business smart clothes, but also some sweatpants and stuff for hanging out after school. And then my casual wardrobe back in Poland. And it was very funny to be, two very different people. I really did enjoy this dress code, because it made me feel very serious, made me feel like, okay, now it's work time. And then once school was over, I could take it off and relax in my casual clothes. So after 2 years of wearing this business smart clothes, I went to university, where again, it was very casual. Everybody can wear whatever they want. And I have brought all my my whole wardrobe from boarding school to the university. And I still like them. I still enjoyed these clothes. And I liked how they made me feel. So I continued to wear, maybe not as smart, but kind of wear these smart outfits. And I always thought it's better to be overdressed than underdressed, so I kind of started with that. And but then, no one else was dressing up like this. So again, wanting to fit in, I kind of relaxed my style over time. Still kept the smart clothes because you might need it for an job interview, or maybe I would get like a side job where I needed to look a little smarter. And again, some of these pieces could be dressed down, so it was not completely useless. But again, my style slightly changed and diluted. As I moved into big city, I also had more possibilities to shop. My budget was very limited because it was expensive to live in the UK. And so I mainly purchased things from Primark, which is a very, very fast fashion brand. And some of the stuff was actually, I would not call it good quality, but it kind of lasted the same as clothes from other brands. Their shoes, though, they're complete trash. But I was not really that aware yet, and I would just buy these clothes, and when they got, they fell apart, I would throw them away and buy new ones. Not something I would be doing these days, but this was like, we're talking like 15 years ago, and yeah, that was kind of just my mindset. Also, because some other stuff that I've been buying before, it was maybe not Primark quality, but it was still all affordable stuff, and this stuff still broke fast, or I broke it down because I don't know, I was using it a lot, and so it did not strike me like crazy that like, this is really low quality. I was like, okay, I mean, it's fine, but yeah, I was not particularly concerned about the impact yet. On the flip side of it, I was working at a charity shop as a volunteer. I was volunteering at a charity shop, and I was handling donations a lot. I was also on the floor of the shop a lot. So I've also purchased a lot from that shop. I wouldn't say a lot, I was not shopping a lot, but I bought a piece here and there. And again, this was a little bit better, of course, than doing the fast fashion. But of course, you can't get everything in charity shops, or not every time you find exactly what you're looking for. But I did purchase a lot there, and I've enjoyed it. Some things I've kept for like 10 years. I have moved a lot in my 20s, and I took most of my stuff with me. Occasionally, I decluttered, but unless things were really not fitting me or really falling apart, I kept them. Just in case, like I had still these shirts from these white shirts that I used for in boarding school. They still fit me. I mean, you can't go wrong with a white shirt, right? You might need white shirt for an interview or whatever. That being said, how many white shirts do you need if you never wear any? As a child, I have never really learned decluttering based on style or something, because it's just you grow out of things and that's when you get rid of things. Otherwise, that's the things you have. In my 20s, I did not have that decluttering muscle, and I've just kept all the stuff that was usable. And I think it was in general good. I don't think we should be getting rid of things when new styles come. But that just made me kind of keep a little bit too much clothes and keep clothes that were not really for my lifestyle. But kind of as long as I had the space, I kept everything. My body started to change in my mid-20s. I started to carry a little bit more weight in my belly. I was no longer skinny. I was still very slim, but I was no longer skinny like I was before when I was a teenager or a 20-year-old. and no longer had that flat stomach. And it's not, I haven't really changed my habits consciously, maybe unconsciously a little bit, but as I still walked a lot and I still ate kind of the same, but I was not really aware how much your body changes once you have grown up. I remember feeling guilty for having a little bit more belly. And now looking back, I was still very, very slim and very, very skinny. But it just seems like such a big change for me, that I have noticed it. And at that point, I actually had to get rid of maybe 80% of my pants because they did not, as much as they fit me in the butt, they did not fit me in the belly. I still kept the smart clothes because, as a recent graduate, I was gonna be looking for jobs, and again, interviews, work, better to have these kind of clothes than having to repurchase them, right? When I started a new position in 2018, again, I tried dressing up for work. I was wearing blazers, I was wearing white shirts, I was trying to be a serious scientist, but it turns out other scientists are serious without these smart clothes, and the dress code is relatively relaxed. You can do whatever you want. You can dress in a suit if you like, but there's a lot of people in jeans and hoodies, and nobody really cares what you wear because that is not important in our job. So again, I have gone a little bit more casual. Again, I started to wear hoodies instead of blazers, and kind of relaxed that again. Again, I had some moments where I dressed a bit nicer, but definitely no longer wearing suits. So in those years, I started to get a lot of hand-me-downs. Some from my sister that were maybe too big for her. Some too small things from my mom. Some stuff from my sister-in-law, from her mother, from my mother-in-law, from friends. We did swapping clothes, and I was very happy with it because it was free. It was keeping clothes out of landfill, and it gave me choices. I always basically took whatever people were giving me, and I'm like, oh, I'll see what I like from here, instead of having a look at that bag immediately and say, okay, this is not for me, this is not for me. I just took the whole thing and kind of put in my wardrobe and saw what I would be wearing. But after growing out of so many clothes before, I was very glad to have these hand-me-downs. My wardrobe was not my own. It was a closet full of other people's choices and my own guilt. Some pieces were amazing, but they drowned in noise. My closet was a graveyard of good intentions, but I just didn't see it. I can no longer say yes to whole bags of other people's clothes just so that I don't feel wasteful. But then I got pregnant, and my body changed even more. And at that point, I paused all decluttering because it was not easy to predict what my body would look like afterwards. Also, I had to acquire more clothes to accommodate my changing body and changing needs. And I put a lot of stuff in storage because it did not fit me at the time. I took a lot of hand-me-downs of pregnancy and breastfeeding clothes, and very grateful to have had that option. I had kind of like a capsule wardrobe of pregnancy and breastfeeding clothes, and that actually worked quite well. It turns out you actually don't need so many clothes. So that's a lesson I'm trying to kind of carry on further in my life. Then when my firstborn was about 1 year old, I started to feel like myself again, and my weight got back to what it was before. I felt good in my body. Really wanted to treat myself a little bit because this year has been very much focused on the baby. So I wanted to treat myself with some nice clothes so that I also can feel a bit more confident in that time. First, some clothes that I got were actually a gift from my sister, but I was the one picking the clothes. And then I have bought some more clothes from a Polish brand called Risk, made in Warsaw. And I was really glad. The fabric and the garments are made fully in Poland. They are a bit pricier than what I was used to before. Like I said before, I was mainly buying things in the beginning, fast fashion, then secondhand. So it was a bit different for me to spend more money on clothes, especially on dresses of all things. I was unfortunately a little bit disappointed because even though I followed the sizing charts, not everything fit. It was not easy to return things because it was bought online in Poland. And some designer elements were a little bit silly. Like they worked well, or they looked well, but did not hold up in the wash. So it's very hard to say whether all this was a good choice or not. But let's say 50% of the garments were really nice and are still I still wear them, and some unfortunately I will have to give away. Did I make a mistake paying more than usual? Are all brands just the same? Is it even worth it? Even when brands are sustainable, does that really matter if they don't really deliver? I'll probably get into it in another video, so you can stay tuned. But basically, I was just disillusioned about these clothes. And then I got pregnant the second time. And after that, my weight never got back down. I'm heavier than ever, and I really realistically do not see a way to go back to my previous body. So my youngest daughter is now 2 years old, and I decided it is time to look at my closet and look at it through the lens of my body right now. It's been like 5 years of insecurity over what my body will be looking like, and now I think it is time to accept it, and that this is my body. This reckoning was not easy or pleasant. I have gained more weight when I stopped breastfeeding, and I really just did not realize it. I needed a new swimsuit. The old one was 10 years old and still in great shape because it was actually a nicer quality piece. But again, since then I have gained like 15 kilos, so it's just not fitting right. And I decided to order one online, and I was just humbled because I initially bought a swimsuit according to the size I thought I have, and I was so wrong. I was so wrong, and I had to buy a swimsuit in the end 2 sizes bigger. That did not feel great to admit that, but the swimsuit is very comfortable. Other unexpected effect of these life changes has been that realizing that my feet grew as well. Through the postpartum, I only wore a couple comfy shoes, and I did not realize that my feet grew, and I have outgrown basically all shoes that I have. I have to replace all of them. I will probably not be replacing all of them. I think I will maybe keep a couple, and but basically like 10 pairs of shoes do not fit me anymore. And again, I will not be buying 10 pairs of shoes. I'll only buy a few, and then we'll go from there. I have purchased now a couple white toe box shoes, and I just cannot believe it, how comfortable they are. And I can't believe that I used to stuff my feet in these tiny narrow shoes that hurt my feet. I just did not know that they're hurting my feet. Like, I always had foot pain, but I did not think about how squeezed my toes were in the shoes. So now I'm really enjoying the freedom to splay my toes. So if that has taught me anything, is that I value comfort now more than ever, and I am not willing to compromise on that. I can still dress nice and look nice and have nice shoes, but I will not be squeezing myself into anything. That's just not where I am at in my life now. Growing up and having kids has really changed my body, changed my lifestyle, and it's just not the same. And accepting that I do not have the same body as before was not easy. When I'm bloated in the evening, I look like I did when I was 6 months pregnant. It is sometimes hard to look in the mirror. I have to remind myself that this is my body that grew, birthed, and breastfed 2 babies. For 4.5 years, I shared my body with my children, and I can diet and I can exercise, but my breasts will not jump back up, my pelvis will not narrow again, and my belly skin will not just shrink. What I can do is accept my size and not stuff myself into too small clothes and shoes. Looking back, so much of my wardrobe was keeping clothes for just in case, for the job, for what my body might look like later, and again, to not let things go into landfill. And that's all kind of okay if it does not bother you. But it started to bother me. I was keeping my clothes because I was, in recent years, kind of exposed to so many, especially influencers, saying how you should buy for longevity and the clothes should, have longevity in your wardrobe, and therefore I just did not get rid of things because I thought it's my responsibility to keep things in my wardrobe to have the longevity. But the longevity means that these clothes are worn and work for you. So I think this is just not a great advice for young women whose bodies change so much. And maybe that's great for someone who keeps their size since they're 15. That's great for you, but it is just not the reality for everybody. And of course, this should not be treated as like a free-for-all for shopping and decluttering cycles. But how many of us live with this guilt? So, has my body settled enough now that buying for life is an option? Maybe. I think it would be foolish of me to think that nothing will change. But things are more stable now. So I hope that clothes that I have will fit me for life, for a long time at least. But I cannot feel guilty for getting rid of things that no longer fit me. Thank you for listening to my ruminations. Now that we have the context, we can dive in deeper in the next videos. Next time I'll reveal that I am in fact a hypocrite. I have inherited some clothes, a bag of clothes from a relative that has recently passed away. And even though I said I cannot take other people's clothes anymore, there's a little bit more nuance there, and I think we can unpack that in the next video. So if you wish to follow my wardrobe journey, like this video and subscribe, and see you in the next one.